Hello and welcome to another lecture on anatomy of the brain. So today we'll be discussing one more part of the brain, that is this one. So this is the cerebellum, also known as the lesser brain. So usually this cerebellum is separated from this bigger part, what we call as the cerebellum, by this transverse fissure. So there is a transverse fissure that is separating the lesser brain from that of the cerebrum. And in this transverse fissure, there is a fold of the dura mater that is attached here. That is the tentorum cerebri. So tentorum cerebri will be attaching here in this fissure. So today we will be discussing this, what we call as a lesser brain. And this brain, if you see, this part of the brain, the cerebellum, is basically unpaired because here there are the two hemispheres of cerebrum, and here there is no cerebral hemispheres and cerebral hemispheres like that. So this is the unpaired part of the brain. And if you see the surface, general surface, it is a very irregular surface. So it is having the irregular surface and is unpaired part of the brain. Now this surface is basically divided by, you can see that this surface is divided by the fissures. One fissure is here and another fissure is here. So this fissures usually divide this surface into the lobes. Then small lobules, you can see one lobules. So small lobules you can see. Then these lobules are further divided by these small, here you can see that small lobules, or what you call as a gyri, or what you call as, in here the gyri has the other name, what you call as a folia. So these are the folia. So you can count the folia here. So here also, so these small separations are called as a folia. So these are the fissures divided into the lobes, lobules, then small leaf-like structures, what you call as a folia or cerebellar folia. Now if you see that this cerebellum, you can compare with that of a mushroom. And you know that mushroom basically, if you have seen a mushroom, so mushroom basically is, so the mushroom basically, if you know, mushroom is like this, having the upper cap, and then it is having this stem. So you can compare the cerebellum with that of a mushroom, but here there is not a one stem. The stems are three in number in the cerebellum. So there will be like this, three cerebral stems, what we call as cerebellar peduncles. So three stems with a cap. So here you can see, so this is a cap, what you see here on the surface, and underneath will be three stems, and one will be on the front side, what you call as a rostral cerebellar peduncle, and this will be the middle cerebellar peduncle, and this will be the caudal cerebellar peduncles. So three peduncles with a cap, with a mantle like this. So you can compare with that of a mushroom. The only difference is in the mushroom there is a single what you call as stem, but in case of the cerebellum there are the three stems called as the cerebellar peduncles, the rostral cerebellar peduncle, the middle cerebellar peduncle, and the caudal cerebellar peduncle. Now if you see the cut portion of this cerebrum, if you see the cut portion of this cerebrum, and likewise here in case of cerebrum, what we have seen that it is made up of the gray matter and the white matter. The gray matter is usually outside and the white matter is inside. You can see here also the gray matter, white matter. But in case of cerebellum also, the configuration is same. The gray matter is outside, the white matter is inside. So how to see that thing? You have to see the cut surface. So this is a cut surface of the cerebellum. So this is the cut surface of the cerebellum, and this you can see white in color is the white matter. It is in the center, and here on the periphery sides you can see the gray matter. Now this white matter, basically the cerebral peduncles, those are basically the fibers. Cerebral peduncles are basically the five stems are made up of the fibers. They have come up and they have gone inside the cerebellum, and they have divided into like branching line patterns here, and this branching line pattern having gray matter in between is called as arbor vitae. So this is called as arbor vitae, arrangement of this gray matter in the cerebellum, where the cerebellum is where the gray matter is outside and the white matter is inside, giving the tree like appearance, and this is called as arbor vitae or tree of life. And there is ancient belief that the seat of soul is in this part of brain cerebellum. That's why it has taken the shape of a tree. So you can easily see that it is like that of a tree, having the white matter inside at the center and the gray matter at the periphery. So this is how the arrangement of gray matter and the white matter is in case of cerebellum. And if you see that what is the position of the cerebellum, usually this is the area. So this is the area where there is a presence of the fourth ventricle. So the roof of fourth ventricle is formed by the cerebellum. So this is basically here fourth ventricle, and the roof is basically formed by the cerebellum. You can see in this also. So if you take it up this side, because from here this is the spinal cord, and basically this is the fourth ventricle inside. So this is the fourth ventricle, and the roof is formed by the cerebellum. So grossly again on the surface, if you look out, it has three divisions. One is this, then central one, and this one. So consisting of three gross divisions, a small unpaired middle one, and this is called as vermis, vermis. Vermis. If you see the arrangement of the folia, it looks like of a worm, worm worm. That's why the name is the vermis. And there are the two lateral, so one side on this and two lateral lobes. So altogether there are three divisions basically. So one is the central, resembling like that of a worm, known as the vermis, and two lateral divisions. You can see easily that. So here these two lateral divisions are called as lateral cerebellar hemispheres, and this central one is called as vermis. So these are small folia. You can see small folia resembling like that of a body of a worm. That's why it is called as a vermis. You can see here one folia is here, one is here. And the main function of this cerebellum is the control of the balance and the locomotion. So it will have the voluntary, basically regulates all the voluntary movements of the animals, and basically regulates the balance and the equilibrium also. And if you see the phylogenetic, the functional anatomical correlations of cerebellum, whether there are some correlations between in the animals. So usually in case of reptiles and birds, if you have seen reptiles and the birds, those have the symmetrical limb movements. That means their limb movements are symmetrical, and they have well developed this portion. So if you see the bird of reptile, if you see the brain of a reptile or the bird, this portion, the middle portion, what you call the vermis, is well developed in case of reptiles and birds which have the symmetrical limb movements. And in mammals which have the independent, which have independent limb movements, they have these two, what you call the lateral hemispheres. They have well developed lateral cerebral hemispheres. And in case of the primates, usually those have the upright posture, and same thing, the cerebral hemispheres are highly developed. So birds and reptiles, this is highly developed, well developed. But in case of mammals and in case of the primates, they have this thing, very well developed lateral cerebral hemispheres. So the main function of the cerebellum is balance, control of voluntary movements, and some involuntary movements. Those are important for balance and the equilibrium. So all those things. And this part of the brain is called the lesser brain. It's a very important brain because this is the area where on the ventral aspect you have the pons and medulla oblongata, and the maximum of the cranial nerves or arising from the ventral aspect. And it is said that you should not hit anyone on this part of the brain because so many functions are related with this brain. So this is about the cerebellum, and next we can go for the dissection of the brain in the next class. Thank you.